I don't know how to start this video. I've done so many takes. I'm just going to speak. So I am participating in a collab called Battle of the Stitches with Heather from Strings and Threads and Teresa from Critters Crochet. They have been doing one stitch out of this book a month. So here is the stitch of the month of August worked out. These are some of the stitches that they have made items with. So this is the cross single crochet. It's the stitch that we'll be using for the month of August. It consists of chaining, single crochet, and then we're going to do single crochet 2 together, chain 1, and then single crochet 2 together starting in the previous chain 1 space, and then do a single crochet 2 together, chain 1. We'll talk about that more in detail because I will do a more detailed tutorial. So I'm just going to switch to that tutorial now. Thank you for watching my intro. I hope it was good and explained what we're doing here. So we are going to get started with our cross single crochet. For this tutorial, I'm using a 5.5 millimeter and a 4-weight yarn. Doesn't matter what yarn or hook you use as long as as long as you're using what you're comfortable with. If you want a looser stitch, you just go up a hook size from the recommended. Go up like 2 hook sizes maybe. If you're trying to get a tighter stitch definition, go down a hook size. It's all preference, really. Use what you're comfortable with. I'm going to insist that you guys grab stitch markers, 2 of them. One for each side. Because when you do the chain 2, you're going to want to put that stitch marker there to save yourself the pain of having to search for that stitch later on. Okay, so for this stitch, we do need to do multiples of 2 plus 1. So we'll do even number of stitches plus 1 for the foundation chain. So I'm going to make a slip knot, and I'm going to chain 13 for the demonstration. 1, 2, 5, 6, 13. Okay, so that's 13. Now I'm going to be working in the back humps of the stitch of the chain, not the front. So this is the front and this is the back. I'm going to be working in these back humps right here. So just so you know. So right here it says for row 1 we are going to work into the 3rd chain from the hook. So that's the 3rd chain, and we will be single crocheting into that chain stitch. Now we are going to do this as a repeat for this row. We will be chaining 1, we will be skipping 1 stitch, and we will be working in the next stitch a single crochet, like so. So we chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next. That's what we repeat across. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet. Skip 1, single crochet. So here is what it looks like, row 1, our setup. Right, so row 2, we chain 2. this chain 2 counts as the first single crochet and the chain 1. So single crochet, chain 1, that's what the chain 2 counts for. We're flipping our work, turning it, and right away to note, we are skipping all of the single crochets. We are not working into these single crochets at all. Even the last stitches that we will make, we will not be crocheting into these single crochets. So what we're going to be doing is single crocheting 2 together and chaining 1 in between. Let me show you what I'm saying. So we skip this single crochet because that's a single crochet. We're skipping that, and we're going to be working in the chain 1. So we insert as if we're making a single crochet, yarn over and draw up a loop, insert into the next chain 1 space, skipping this single crochet completely, insert into the chain 1 space, yarn over and draw up a loop, and we'll have 3 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and draw through all 3, and then we will chain 1. Kind of makes up for the leaning of that piece. Now we're going to be working into the next 2 chain 1 spaces, going back into the space that we already worked into. So we will be reinserting our hook into this chain 1 space that has the decrease or the single crochet 2 together. Insert there, yarn over, draw up a loop, insert into the next chain 1 space, skipping this single crochet altogether, yarning over and drawing up another loop, and you have 3. You're going to yarn over and draw through all 3, and then to finish it, we're chaining 1. That's basically the repeat for the rest of the pattern until we get to the end, and I'll show you what to do at the end. Right, so we're doing that again. We're inserting into the chain 1 space we already worked into. Insert into the next chain 1 space. Draw through all 3. Chain 1. Repeat that. Insert. Insert into the next space. Turn over, draw through 3. Chain 1. Insert, this is the last, okay, so I have to point this out. This is the last chain 2, single crochet, and second to last chain 1 space. So what we do is we are inserting into the second to last chain space, starting our single crochet, and then we are going into this space in between the single crochet and the chain 2 turning chain, from my understanding. And we are inserting and doing that decrease. We are doing the decrease over this one and the turning chain space. Now we are chaining 1 again, and we are going to do the decrease again. So we're going to insert back into the turning chain space, and then we're going into the first stitch or the first chain of the turning chain. So that's right here. You can see that. Let me take that out because we're on the top of it. But there's 2 chains here. One is hidden behind the decrease or the single crochet 2 together. But this is still a chain 1 space, as we indicated when we said that we're doing a chain 2. So we're going to, or actually that was the beginning chain 1. that we skipped 3 chains from. Same thing. So we're going to insert into this turning chain space because we're working into that twice. We're going to do our single crochet yarn over, but then we're going to go into the turning chain's actual chain, and we're going to do the yarn over as if we're single crocheting, and we have 3 on our hook, and we're going to yarn over and draw through all 3. That's how you finish off the row. So I'm going to show you that again because honestly it's kind of like confusing to me the first time I read it. I'm like, okay, you want me to do what now? When I first did this pattern, like I practiced the first time I opened the book, and I was going into single crochets, I wasn't paying attention, I wasn't listening, so that was me. Not that you all would do that, but that was a me thing. Okay, so I'm going to do row 3, and row 3 is a repeat of what we just did for row 2. So I just want to solidify this in my own mind. Like, okay, we're chaining 2. We're turning our work. We are not working into the single crochets, but we are working into those chain 1s. So previously, when I did this, I did a chain 1 right here. It's kind of hard to see, but these chain 1s hit right here. There's one here. There's one right here. So like in between these decreases, you'll find your hidden chain 1. So there's one here, and then there's a hidden one. When we did our 2 chains to turn, it's hidden right here. To be very honest, I feel like we should be putting a stitch marker here because for myself, that is basically impossible to remember that that's there. My brain is like, that's not a thing, that's not a stitch. I'm just looking at it right now thinking that, like, that doesn't look right. That's gonna bang on the table, but it's okay. So I did my chain 2. This is row 2. I'm just gonna take that chain 2 out just to, yeah. So row 2 repeat, row 3. So we got chain 2, turn the work. Remember that this is a decrease, which kind of makes it easier because it's harder to work in. So we are skipping that decrease, we're not working on the top of it. And we are inserting into the chain 1 that we made when we made the last decrease. So we're going to do our work into the chain 1 spaces. So we're doing our yarning over and draw through a loop as if we're single crocheting. We're skipping this decrease and we're going to insert into the chain 1, which is actually right here. This is the stitch, and then this is the chain 1. So we're going into the chain 1. Make sure you put it into the correct place. It's not easy to see. Okay, so that's the chain 1. We're yarning over through all 3. That's our decrease. Chain 1. Let me repeat that and speak more. Because I was just doing it and I wasn't really talking about what I was doing. I'm going to put a stitch marker. This is not even necessary, but for me, I just want to know that this is my chain 2 space right here, because this looks so confusing when you're first starting. And like I said, this is basically my second time doing this, and it's confusing. Okay, so like we did for row 2 previously, we're going to be reinserting into the chain 1 space. Yarning over, drawing up a loop, and then we are going to be skipping this whole stitch and working into the chain one, which is kind of hard to see. I think this is the stitch and then this is the chain one, so you kind of have to move everything over when you're working this stitch. Do you see what I mean? Because this is the top of the decrease of the chain, of the single crochet decrease. Okay, so yeah, I'm just moving things over and flipping this project over until I realize by instinct where I'm supposed to be working. I just had a coughing fit 5 seconds ago. Anyways, so yeah, I'm moving this piece over. This is the back of this is the back of the single crochet two together right here. And then this is the actual chain one space. So I'm just scooching it over. And I'm going to yarn over, drop a loop. And now I have 3 loops on the hook, and I'm going to draw through all 3. Chain one. And I think when we chain one, we should do it loosely. Loose chain one. Okay, so I'm going to just reinsert into the chain one space, draw up a loop, and scooch this over because I now know that this is the chain one space. And I'm going to insert into the chain one space. And I'm glad I did a second row of this to show you guys, because that's complicated. So we're drawing through 3. Chain one, insert back in, draw the loop. This is the back of the 2 together, so we're going to scooch that over. We're going to insert and drop a loop, draw through 3, chain 1. Insert back in, drop a loop. This is the last, the last single crochet 2 together. This is the chain 2, which counts as the chain and the single crochet. So we're scooching this over. So we got to go in here. Into the last one, draw through 3, chain 1. Now to end, we're going to do that again. We're going to go into the chain 1, chain 2 turning chain space, draw up a loop, and then we're going to go into this first chain, which is why we marked it right here. We're going to insert into that chain, draw up a loop, and we have 3, draw through all 3. That's how we finish that. So I'm going to repeat that again, just because I want to make sure I know what I'm doing. It's about me, but it's about you understanding. But it's also like, I need to understand what's going on here. I think I got this. Okay, so I'm going to chain 2. Like I did before, I am marking the first chain because that's my single crochet technically. And this is my chain 1 space. Single crochet, chain 1 space. That's what it says in the pattern. I'm going to turn my work. And I should have marked it differently over here because, like I said, I'm learning as I go. So I'm going to take this out and I'm going to find that chain. I think it's right here. I'm just going to go for it. Okay, so we have our chain 2. And like I said, I marked it. And we're going to turn our work. And we are going to remember to scooch these over because this is super deceptive. So we're scooching this stuff over, and we're working in between these chain 2 together, or the single crochet 2 together. So this is the chain 1 space. I'm inserting into there, drawing up that loop, And then I'm gonna do the same on this side. I'm scooching all these things over because this is the two single crochet two together. And I'm inserting into the chain one space, yarning over, drawing up a loop. Now we're gonna draw through all three. Chain one. Reinsert into that chain one space that we worked in. Scooch these guys over, drop a loop as well into that chain one space, and we're going to draw through three. Chain one. So yeah, this is how it's looking. I'm going to continue. Insert into the chain one space, drop a loop. This is the two together, so we're going to separate that. Insert, drop a loop. Drawing through all three. Chaining one. I'm sorry if my voice sounds like I just chewed some gravel. I am coughing in the background and I'm pausing as I'm doing it, so my asthma is really bad right now. But anyways, we're going to reinsert into the chain one again, drop a loop, push over these stitches to reveal the chain one space that's hidden amongst all of this. Insert, drop a loop, and then draw through all three, chain one. This is the last single crochet two together, and then this is how we work it. Insert, draw up a loop, go into the chain two space, that is the chain one space technically. Gotta scooch it over because literally we would be working into this decrease if we didn't scooch it over. It's like super jumbled. Anyways, and we're going to single crochet those two together, chain one, and we're going to work back into this chain one space, which is the turning chain two. Insert, drop a loop. Now we're going to go into this marked chain, which is the first chain of the chain two. See, this is great. That's why I marked it. Sometimes I do things smart, I swear. So we're gonna yarn over and draw through all three, and that's the end of this row. And this is all I'm going to do for right now, but this is what the front and the back look like. I don't know if there's a right side and wrong side. It says that row one is the right side, so I'm assuming all of the like odd numbered rows are the front facing rows. This is the back facing row, but it looks nice on the back and the front. So yeah, this is the stitch tutorial for Battle of the Stitches. I hope this wasn't too confusing the way I described it. I feel like I was all over the place, and this is like, yeah, I don't know. I really hope this helped. But yeah, okay. Thank you for watching. This is my stitch tutorial for Battle with the Battle of the Stitches. I can word. Happy Wednesday, and I will see you guys next week, where I will give you a sneak peek of what I have been making with this stitch. So until then, hopefully maybe even sooner, I will talk to you guys later. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.